Hey dear students, how are you? Hope you would be having a good time. Today we are going to discuss 21st century drama, Samuel Beckett as a dramatist. Samuel Beckett is an Irish playwright and dramatist and short story writer. He has taken the conventional models of writing as well. Uh, uh, so, one of the great dramatists of the 21st century. Uh, Now we discuss majorly in this section we would be talking about his play Waiting for Godot. Godot is basically it has been asked to even Samuel Beckett that who is Godot, but he said that I don't know who is Godot. The title of the play is Waiting for Godot, where there are three people and they are waiting for Godot. But the day passes and the Godot never comes. The other day they stand over there, but Godot never comes. Even on the third day, Godot never comes. But in the evening, a boy comes and he says that Godot will come tomorrow. So it definitely has been asked even to me as well that what's the Godot in the Waiting for Godot. So I think it's hope, our hope for happiness, which still has to come over here as well. Nah? Samuel Beckett has the career of an Irish exile, a Protestant. He was educated at the Wilds Old House School and lectured in philosophy at the Trinity College, Dublin. He left for Paris, still hostess to the international modernism. He was an exile from Ireland to this Trinity College in Dublin, Paris. Later on, he has translated the Fines Wake into the French, became Joyce's disciple. Joyce here means James Joyce. Now he was a modern psychoanalytic, so he becomes his disciple. Disciples means shagird. Na? After the war, he wrote three novels in French rather than French was his basically native language, so he has been trying writing in that than his native language. In order to write without style, in 1952 Beckett wrote An Attendant Godot, means waiting for Godot. This was in French. But later on, when he came to know its success, he started translating in English. Now this is the most widely translated play in in English literature. After its success in Paris, he translated as the Waiting for Godot. It came to London following plays by Jean Cantillon, Jean-Paul Sartre. Sartre was an existentialist, and Albert Camus. So we would be talking about the two things over here. One is the existentialism, which is the essence of this play as well, and the other one is the theory of absurdity. With the publication of this play, the theory of absurd and absurdity and absurdism that came into the dominance. So Jean-Paul Sartre is the existentialist. Existence means the core theory. For example, men don't want to die. We want to live, and we want do all our struggles only to make our name and existence on this world. So all this is the existentialism. Even we think only to think only the reason for thinking is only to live, only to exist. So the existentialist theory has a major postulate that we mm, we here we think to live as we don't want to die. Therefore, this is the essence of existence. And while on the other side, the concept of rationalism deals with that as we live, therefore, as we think, therefore we live. That's the theory of rationalism. And Albert Camus, later on, we would be going to talk about this Albert Camus theory of absurdity. Absurd means that there is no reason behind the happening of the things. There are a lot of things in this world which are without reason. So that's the theory of absurdity. Basically, there is the myth of Sisyphus, which Comus in 1942 has put forward an idea of the absurd, the philosophical reaction to the intelligibility of the life. I mean, there is no reason behind this life, which under the German occupation of the Paris had become greater than the usual. Lacantric win by these are the different philosophers, and by Eugene Onisco was the first comedy of the theater of absurd, the ballad Prima Donna, London 1958. So first I am going to talk on this myth of Sisyphus, which Comus has, and what's the Sisyphus basically. Sisyphus was a Greek character. It said that he some triggered or disobeyed the god. This is basically myth. That Sisyphus disobeyed God, and as a punishment, God has ordered him to, or that goddesses has punished, ordered him to drag a very big bulldoze of stone from the earth to the top of a mountain. So he used to carry it, and doing this exercise daily, he used to drag that bulldoze. Bulldoze means a very large stone from the earth to the top of the mountain. And when just he reached at that mountain top, he come to know that, and he just wished to swab his sweat. Then it comes back again to the initial position. And then the very next day he comes over there and he repeat the same exercise. So that was very problematic for him, and means that the struggle of life never ends. We have to do this, repeat the same patterns daily basis. So myth of Sisyphus, same is the essence of waiting for Godot, that we have to do the same things, same days we have to drag our life forward. And later on, this look back in anger was of the year of the obsolescence play. They are all having been majorly focusing on the theme of absurdity and hopelessness. In 1957 came the painter's The Birthday Party, but London had seen nothing like Godot. Godot was the unparalleled and exemplary one. Beckett's comic experimental novel had been ignored. It's very interesting to mention over here that Becket is also a novelist. He wrote a lot of novels as well, but his novels are not so much famous as compared to his play, this Waiting for Godot. He now became the West leading literary dramatist. Waiting for Godot can be misunderstood as Chekhov's can, as merely bleak, especially by the students who have not seen it. Subtitle as tragedy comedy in two acts. This Waiting for Godot is tragic as well and comic as well at the same time. So its genre stands between the tragedy comedy. Who have not seen it, subtitled as tragedy comedy in two acts, its mode is one of the gaiety, and the characters are clones as well as tramps. It means lower characters belonging to the very lower strata of life. Life is first boredom, then fear. Larkin was to write later. So life over here, in this Waiting for Godot, first is boredom, means the characters in the Waiting for Godot stands and got bored, and then they are afraid of the happening around in the world. Becket would think that the formulation to Solomon, modernist nihilism. Nihilism means nothingness, the things we do for nothing, and all our struggle is going to happen in the nothingness of a theatrical kind, that has been prominent in Eliot's Wasteland. Wasteland, we have been talking about T.S. Eliot's theory of wasteland, that we are the hollow man, we are the stuffed man, we have lost spirituality. So this world is going to end in a nothingness. There is no definite destiny of this world. Same is the theme of Beckett's Waiting for Godot. Here is a text from Waiting for Godot. Now we see that, and we would be seeing the major essence of this play as well. So they are talking with one another. What's that noise? The wind under the door. The one character says, "What's that noise?" The other character replies, "The wind under the door." So the other one says, "What's the noise now? What's that noise now? What's the wind doing?" Nothing again, doing nothing. Again, nothing means wind is doing nothing. You know nothing. Do you see nothing? Do you remember nothing? So this is the concept which we can trace from the nihilism from the Beckett's play Waiting for Godot. Our drama, said Aristotle, is the imitation of an action. In Waiting for Godot, this was the classical and traditional definition of play, which is derived from the Aristotle's, and that's an imitation of an action. But in Waiting for Godot, nothing happens. So what is to imitate? What is to copy? So life is futile. Nothing is going to happen. Our life remains the same one. Indeed, famously, nothing happens twice. This was a very slogan one, that nothing happens twice. For example, our life is for one time, or it's not going to. We are not going to have a life for another time. Vladimir and Estrogen await the arrival of the Godot. These two are the characters, Vladimir and Estrogen. They are waiting for their Godot, a name which adds to a French diminutive ending to the god. Godot means God. It may be God, but Becket has never mentioned that it's Godot means God. No? In France, Charlie Chaplin was called as Charlot. These are the suppositions, but whoever he is, he does not arrive. The play ends. Till the end of the play, Godot never comes. So Vladimir and Estrogen are talking to one another. We will have a look on it. We will hang ourselves tomorrow. So they in response to the boredom and nothingness which has paralyzed their life, Vladimir is talking that he will hang him tomorrow unless Godot comes. So they are waiting for Godot, and Godot never comes. Estrogen, as if he comes, this is the hope. He's saying that if he will comes, Vladimir, we will be saved. Means God, as it said that God has made the rules, and now rules are working on the earth with the people, life of the people, and now God is have not any concern with the livingness of the people. So Vladimir, we will be saved. Vladimir takes off his hat. He is wearing hat and boot at that time. Lucky spear inside it, feels about inside it, shakes it, knocks it on the ground, put it on again. Estrogen, well, shall we go? Vladimir, pull on your trousers. Actually, if we look at the play, you might have a look at from the YouTube as well. Some of its videos you can see on the YouTube. If we say that they are going, any activity which are they going to do is that's very unable. They cannot do that activity. That's the isolation. The concept of isolation is also there in this play. So Estrogen, what? Vladimir, put on your trousers. Estrogen, you want me to pull off my trousers? Vladimir, pull on your trousers. Estrogen, realizing his trousers are down. True, he pulls up his trousers. Vladimir, well, shall we go? Estrogen, yes, let's go. They do not move, and the curtain falls. So we see that the major activity, what they are talking, they cannot do that, and for what they are having a wish, for what they are waiting, that never comes. So they are isolated and in this state of confusion and chaos, fear and anxiety, and fright as well. Nothing happens, but words happen. Attempted reasons replaces plot, and language becomes supreme. Such directions reads Act 1, a country road, a tree, and evening. This is the physical happening, a physical situation of the Act 1, that there is a country road, a tree, and the evening time. And in the Act 2 there is the next day time, but the time is the very same, and the situation is the very same, and the place is the very same one. To this tree comes Vladimir and Estrogen, and with their music hall boots, trousers, and a blower hat. Vladimir is that funny man, and Estrogen the straight man, like the British television comedians. Their cross talk also comes from the music hall. So if we see, they also make fun of Bible as well, reflects Vladimir. Did you ever read the Bible? Read the Bible? Estrogen, the Bible, he reflects. I must have taken a look at it. As we people do with the Quran, we look at the Quran but do not read that. So, Vladimir, do you remember the Gospels? Estrogen, I remember the maps of the Holy Land. Colored they were, very pretty. The Dead Sea was the pale blue. The very look of it made me thirsty. That's where we will go. This refers to the heaven, the concept of heaven. That in that land we would go. I used to say that's where we shall go for our honeymoon. We will swim and we will be happy. So he's making a very fun of the life after to come, the life promised by the that holy gospels. Vladimir, you should have been a poet, as poet imagines. Estrogen, I was. Gestured towards his rags. Is not that obvious? Means the rags which he was wearing. That he also mocks the dressing of the poets by this pointing towards the rags as well. Vladimir, where was I? How are your foot? Estrogen swelling visibly. Vladimir, ah yes, the two thieves. Do you remember the story? Estrogen, no. Vladimir, shall I tell it to you? Estrogen, no. Vladimir, I will pass the time. They are there to pass the time as well. Two thieves crucified at the same time as our Savior one means the thieves have been crucified in the same way as the Savior Christ has been. So things are and even it's the very sense of multiplicity of the meaning as well, that as Savior has been crucified, in the same manner the thieves have been crucified. Estrogen, our what? Then what would be of our? Vladimir says, our Savior. Two thieves. One is supposed to have been the saved, and the other the searches for the contrary of the saved, damned. He was searching the word damned, which is the opposite of the word savior. Estrogen, saved from what? Vladimir, hell. Estrogen, I am going. So it's very confusing that where he is going. He does not move. He says, but he does not move. Vladimir, and yet, how is it that this is now boring you? I hope. How is it that of the four evangelists only one speaks of the thief being saved, the four of them were there, are thereabouts, and only one speaks of the thieves being saved. Means four thieves were there, but we are talking of the one. Come on, go on, go. Return the ball. Cannot you once in while in that way? As well as action sets from the start to the end of it. Becket dispenses with the convention that redundancy means the things which are going to take place again and again, and in consequence of everyday conversation is purged from the stage dialogue. Vladimir's attempts to debate the chances of salvation is held under difficult conditions for weak reasons, is at the mercy of the weaker's physique. The gushing stream of the consciousness of James Joyce divides into two tricklets. The absence of the context means that the audience consciousness begins to stream, filling the void with possible meanings. The text and the tree suggest at times the crucifixion and the Garden of Eden. For example, Vladimir's Christ. What's the Christ got to do with it? You are not going to compare yourself to the Christ. Estrogen, all my life I have compared myself to him. Means definitely even every religious man start comparing his life with the life of his holy ideals. Estrogen, all my life I have compared myself to him. Vladimir, but where he lived, it was warm, it was dry. Means we are living in cold, and to whom you have been copying or to whom you are following, they have never been like you. Estrogen, and yes, and they crucified quick. But even less than and Prufrock, means the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, which has been written by T.S. Eliot. Are these grand comparisons lived up to as urgent or trivial physical needs lower the tone of the spectacularity, rather as in the heat scenes in the King Lear or in the medieval play of Cain and Abel? Man without God is farcical as well as the miserable one. So this is also the what is the Christ perspective, what might be the Christian's ideology as well. We never not only can charge that Waiting for Godot is only an absurd play without the concept of God. Uh, as Dr. Faustus is a Christianity play as well, is at the same time a anti-Christianity play as well, and at the same time a Christianity play as well. So from here we can assume that word without God is full of miseries, boredom, and chaos. So definitely we all are in need of a Godot, and we are waiting for Godot. Without the coming of Godot, our lives are absurd. Becket brings modernist literature home to an audience by inventing the revelation between the text and the audience found in the Fangian's wake. Instead of too much meaning, there is too much little. The audience has to make the sense of a verbal and visual text as spare as imagist poem. As we have been talking that in the 21st century literature, we have seen we have seen a great rise of the imagist movement, where the people were sorry the artists and the poets have been talking in the sense of images as the basic as a music hall sketch. By letting all the audience imagination, Beckett has made extreme minority art immediate, involving universal. His early tragic comic novel appeals to the intellectual, but other early works as tribute to the silent film comedian Buster Keaton's was the route to the music hall station, a solution Eliot has tried and abandoned in the Swagey Agonistes. Uh, for example, you may have a look over here to this one. Now, this is up to about all about theory of absurd and Samuel Beckett as a dramatist, 21st century dramatist. The next lecture we would be talking about any other fiction writer of the 21st century up till now, and then Allah Hafiz.